The biggest names talking Nebraska sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbal.
Welcome to it, Friday edition, Hail Varsity Roadshow. We're here at the Ohio State Marriott, not far enough from Ohio Stadium. Chris Schmidt, Will Wilson, Elijah Herbal has landed. He is en route. There were some flight challenges. I'm not even going to say allegedly. There were some flight challenges. And Elijah is sprinting here. And we'll see if we can't grab him for the second hour. Excited to have all of you in the stream and hearing us along the Hail Varsity Radio Network. Numbers to get in, 489-1240, 489-1240, or toll-free across the state, wherever you hear us on the Hail Varsity Radio Network, 800-825-5865. Can email Chris at hailvarsity.com. We'll spend some time with our good friend Damon Benning, part of the Husker broadcast team. You hear him with Hurrdat Sports. DB at 425. Jacob Padilla, also with Hail Varsity and Hurrdat Sports at 440. Get his take on some things, maybe a little round ball with Husker basketball and Creighton hoops getting going. In hour two, Pride of Fairbury, Bill Dolman with us. Brian Christopherson going to join us from Husker 24/7 Sports. And then it will be Friday forecast time. He's imaginary. He wears red. Clausburn. We've got an APB out for Claus. We'll round him up at 5:40. Don't forget the weekend edition, Hail Varsity, bright and early tomorrow at 7:30, as we'll get you pregame ready. And then Real Red Reaction follows here from the Ohio State Marriott. And we'll get rocking with thoughts on the ball game. That'll be on air and streaming on KFOR YouTube as well, where you can find us, Hail Varsity YouTube, Hail Varsity Radio, Twitter. Well, I know you got your prediction in. We will ask you to recall that here in about an hour and a half. But really tomorrow, pretty interesting to see where Nebraska is at a week removed from their first showing on Big Noon. I took a little walk down by the river. It's not a country song, it's the reality. Beautiful scenery here in Columbus with all the trees this fall. So I went to a noted breakfast place that starred in the first Austin Powers. There's no free shout-outs on Friday. I'll let you do the math there. Daddy had 4 big old pancakes because I said, why not? It's a road trip. And then I waddled myself to figure out where my entrance is tomorrow to get into Ohio Stadium. All in all, 4.6 miles, several thousand steps wheezed for me before showtime. So I'm feeling all right.
Yeah,
pretty good. Little exercise.
You could have had 5 more pancakes. You burned them all on.
I don't know that that's a reality.
Oh.
But that's kind of how my day's been, man. Putting 2 and 2 together to try and figure out this ball game. And team is here. They're all set up, meeting room. And I think there's a little police escort just moments ago as they're finding their way into the stadium. You're going to have some new faces tomorrow. You're going to have some familiar faces tomorrow, which is cool. But you're going to have some freshmen that made the travel squad this weekend. And we'll see what happens if they get thrown into some action. That'll be a good setup for him. Got a friend here from Ohio State across the table from me that's part of Buckeye NIL. And I was like, you guys do a hell of a job. And it's pretty cool. So there's a Damon Benning sighting, which is pretty nice. That's awesome. That's good news for 15 minutes from now. But the process of progress, Will, is a real thing. You're in this, process-oriented program with Matt Rule. It's incremental progress.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at, a good showing tomorrow, a team that's ready to fight, a team that's not going to be timid in the moment. And they've already, listen, they've had different hurdles and mile markers this season. They passed one against Colorado. They were in a fight against Illinois, who's a pretty good football team. And then it was not a good thing at all for Nebraska last weekend. So what does Nebraska do tomorrow? 25.5-point underdogs. That's just what Vegas says when you look at the talent differential and you wonder where Nebraska's at mentally. So, the progress for me tomorrow is right around that spread and a good 4 quarters of football. And quite honestly, finding something that works and is successful in the run game. Just to give your freshman quarterback, who may be a little bit dinged up, some help on offense. Defensively is, be better, be what you've been against the run. And you know what? Make Ohio State, which they're very capable of doing, hit you deep if they're going to score. But don't let it happen in the run game where they're chipping away 7 a carry or busting off 30, 40-yard runs. They're quite capable of doing that. So I guess, how do you want to take poison tomorrow? I'd make Mr. Howard beat you with his arm. And I know he's capable of doing that, but you got to choose the lesser of some evils. I want to find out your expectations tomorrow. I think Nebraska will play hard. I think they'll play better. And we'll have our score predictions here in about an hour and 20 minutes. But what do you say? What are your expectations tomorrow? Bounce back in a sense where it's competitive for a while. Maybe it's a 4-quarter fight. Nebraska's done that a couple of times in Columbus over the years. Not many, but it's just a different level of program right now, where Ohio State is, where they've been, and what they continue to be. And it's a spot where Nebraska's clearly trying to get to. But before you even start sniffing upper echelon of the Big Ten or even mid-tier, you've got to figure out a way to kind of snap out of these big moment games. And in case in point last week, we get our starting 5 comments and shout outs here. Elijah and Dion got in early, about 10:15, 10:30. If they're still hanging around, good luck and God bless. Well done. KG is in 3rd. He says, but I identify as first, respect my placement. NU Grandpa says, whoa, kind of early. 1 o'clock for NU Grandpa. Loose Lips is here. His expectation, bloodbath. Shane is here. I'm just here from the morning hookup. That's fine. Shane, good to have you, dude. Mr. Snitley is in. Jeff Snitley, part of the Boulder Peace Treaty. Donnie Trump checks in. Bruce from Spearfish is here. Uncle Larry checking in from Okoboji.
Nice.
JB is my dad is here, as is Great Red Shark. Jeff is in. Mr. Erickson saying hello. 3-putt says, thank God it's Friday. There are a lot of Nebraska fans milling around here, which is great here at the Ohio State Marriott. Big thanks again to Jeff Mall and the good folks that visit Lincoln and the other cities of the Big Ten. They've all collaborated on putting together a setup here with the promotion of what to do in Lincoln, right? If you're from, say, Ohio State and you go to Lincoln, vice versa. This was a great connection. Bobby and Lisa also here at the Marriott making it happen, getting us set up. Anonymous, says my score prediction is 55-1. NU scores the first defensive conversion safety ever to avoid a shutout. Anonymous, that's all right. Cliff in Florida says, what's up, says GBR. Montana Husker fan is in. Sad, but I'm glossing over this one and looking forward to UCLA. It's all right, Montana Husker fan. NASCAR Eric says, hello. The real Matthew is in. The other Dave is here and says, Anonymous, Nebraska can still go 9-3. All we need is the first 4 games, first 4-game win streak in 8 years. Love the positivity. Colin is here. Black Hills Brennan is here. And Terry says hello. Good to have Terry in. Tiger Shark is here. Ryan is asking the question that many of us are wondering if you found your way to Ameristar. Do we cover this weekend? I haven't quite decided. Jeff is here. Gregory is in as well. And we'll get to some more of your comments. Game Dog is here, says, I agree, Chris. Load the box. Go after Howard. See what happens. Will, what say you, man? What are your expectations tomorrow? I expect Nebraska to come out aggressive. I expect Nebraska to tackle better. I expect Nebraska to slam away in the run game with some fullback run. I expect to see more Harburg. I expect to see some play action. I expect to see more middle of the field crossers. I expect to see more Jalen Lloyd. I expect to see Carter Nelson, and I expect to see Thomas Fedoni.
Mm-hmm.
And if the outside wide receivers want to step up and play better, then maybe they'll get that opportunity. But that's who I'm kind of riding with right now. And I know Ramirez is out. I expect to see a good day or a heavy dose of Emmett Johnson tomorrow, which I'm quite fine with as well. But give me Liebentritt, give me Emmett in the eye, and let's see what happens. Ohio State's got a damn good defense. I know it. But establish that run, commit to that run, and just pound away. Take some time off. And you know what? Stick around. Make them feel you a little bit. And don't blink. Easier said than done, but there's my prescription. There are my expectations.
Schmitty, I do have a phone call if you want to go.
Oh, sure. Who's on with us?
I think it's Reverend Rule. I think it was his name.
The Reverend is with us. Reverend, how we doing?
Hey, baby, this is Reverend Rule, baby. You give me the money, and I'll come save you. 1-800-911-2030. Now, let me tell you a story. Trev called that number. He said, I got some money, and I need you to come save me. I said, you give me that money, boy, and I'll come save you. A year later, he said, I gave you that money. I need you to save me. I said, you get on your knees, boy. You look at me in the eyes. You ain't going to be no gamecocker. You're going to be an Aggie. You're going to abandon me, and you'll be saved. Now, those of you that abandon me, you don't need to get on your knees and look at me in the eyes. Because you're already saved.
All right, you're done. Reverend.
I don't know. We are safe from the yes, we are.
Hey, thank you. Well done, Will. Well
yeah,
done.
I
so the Reverend, no matter what he shows up with, offering plate wise, that caller is now banned for a year.
All right, it's official.
All right, we're going soup Nazi Seinfeld.
No soup for you.
Yes. Reverend, clean it up. Thank you for the phone call. Jeff is in the stream as well. Grateful Red is here. Well played, fellas, for jumping in the stream. Tiger Shark says we're putting a corn ban on. That's pretty good.
Schmitty, you were talking about my expectation.
Before the Reverend pulled the grenade pin.
I just want to see him show up. I want to see him have some confidence. I want to make Ohio State punt a little bit.
You want him to punt?
Yeah, that'd be nice. You know what I mean?
That's good.
So, yeah, I'm afraid. I hope they have the confidence. It seems like nobody in this fan base really has confidence for tomorrow, and I hope that doesn't bleed into the players. But I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, it's who were we talking with yesterday? Oh, it was Coach Barnett. Barney's like, look, everyone except the team's afraid for this thing tomorrow. Everyone but the coach and staff's afraid for this thing tomorrow. And he might be right. And that's the one thing. And as much as you've seen it over the years, and this isn't all, listen, man, Matt Rule's got a hell of a bar tab to deal with when it comes to the years and years and years of this program struggling. Okay. Even going back to, the game in Boulder in 01. Mm-hmm. Some of you weren't even born then, but it's been just a different program. So KG's asking if the Reverend could have been Elijah. No, I don't believe so. We'll see. You know what? And Tiger Shark brings up a good point about body language here. I think body language is so key. I'm anxious to be up close and personal with that for Nebraska. And they looked sleepy, quite frankly. And, you kind of live and you learn. And I was not there for Nebraska's bye week practice setup, but the way they came out after the bye wasn't crisp. And that isn't good. The old rest versus rust thing. You wonder how much rest was given to the team versus the staying in the flow of things. So that's always key. Game Dog says that Raiola needs to be under center to get any type of bootleg or rollout action. Make sure the fakes are crisp and do the play action thing. I agree. Yeah, give me a little bit of movement. You saw that in the Illinois game in the pocket with Nebraska. So we'll other Dave said that was like a fine bomb caller. Yeah, I'm usually pretty liberal on the phone calls with letting folks drift and go where they want. That one was getting a little stern like. All right, we will hear from Damon Benning. It's Roadshow Friday. Hail Varsity here at the Ohio State Marriott, Nebraska Buckeyes tomorrow in Columbus. Hail Varsity Radio continues.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Heard at Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Heard at Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Heard at Sports Bar and Grill.
Heard at Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Heard at Sports Bar and Grill.
Democrat dark money groups are trying to buy the U.S. Senate, backing far-left deceptive Dan Osborne. The leaders we trust most know Deb Fischer is Nebraska's choice. Here's Senator Pete Ricketts.
Deb Fischer is my partner in the Senate, tough on the border and delivering conservative results. Re-electing Deb will mean Republican control so we can get America back on track. I fully endorse Deb Fischer.
Former Governor Dave Heineman.
Deb Fischer delivers for Nebraska. When I was governor, Deb was one of my closest partners, helping pass what was at the time the largest tax cut in Nebraska history.
President Donald Trump.
Vote for Deb Fischer. She has my complete and total endorsement. She will continue to make you proud.
Conservative leader Deb Fischer, Nebraska's choice for Senate. Vote on November 5th. Paid for by ESA Fund, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. ESA-fund.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultrafine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Trust is a foundation of any strong relationship. It's earned every day.
At 1011, it's the way we cover the community we call home.
Working hard to fact check, verify, and get the story right.
It means alerting you first to severe weather and preparing.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back into it, Hail Varsity, live here in Columbus. Damon Benning with us, Husker great. Of course, you hear him on Herd at Sports weekday mornings, and you'll hear him on the call in Columbus. DB, big opportunity, big bounce back. How we doing?
Yeah, we're good. I think, guys are dialed, pretty locked in. And we'll see, right? You've read all the articles, you've heard all the criticisms, and this is another chance, Schmitty, and this is exactly how I would look at it, is to be the best version of yourself. You don't always get to operate at a high level in optimum situations, and this is one of those times where they're going to have to function at a high level despite what everyone else thinks, which is there's no better time than to put that to the test.
The offense will be tested by an angry Ohio State front seven, right? They've heard the last 2 weeks, 0 sacks against Oregon, and they are going to manufacture a bit of a chip on top of the fact that they got beat. Talk to me about Nebraska's plan to try and deal with that in this environment.
Yeah, again, I think it goes back to a little bit of self-control. We heard Coach Satterfield talk about the commitment to the run game and needing to be a little bit more diligent. And, he kind of was coming across as a guy that was serving two masters, what they thought they needed versus what he kind of wanted to do. So they'll put that to the test against a front seven that you mentioned is chomping at the bit. They've heard it. They've heard the murmurs. What's going on with Coach Knowles and Larry Johnson Sr. and we're two star-studded a roster to be playing like this, and where's our havoc plays and I get all that. Nebraska's got to focus on what they do. They've protected the quarterback relatively well. I think you have a chance to implement a little bit more quick game as an offense, and I think you have a chance to show that you're committed to finding new ways to run the football within your pet core plays of duo, counter, and power. I mean, that's what you want to run. It's up to these guys to design and create different ways to get to the same result. And again, you can't so much worry about what it is that Ohio State wants to do to you because they got their own plan and Nebraska has to have theirs. Up until this point in the season, pass protection has been pretty good. Certainly good enough.
Damon Benning's with us, Hail Varsity Radio. We're here live at the Ohio State Marriott, Nebraska, Ohio State tomorrow. You'll hear Damon on the call, part of the Husker Network, of course. And Damon, you lived it as a running back. What are some things about cleaning up the run game? Yes, the commitment, and I get Sat in this aspect from an efficiency standpoint, right? You got to be more efficient when you do run it. And who could thrive tomorrow? I know Ramir's going to be out.
Yeah, so I still think it's a by committee kind of thing. But you ask an interesting question about like the style and it being more than just about what they're doing up front. That's a couple of things I think as running backs. Number one is patience. Sometimes we're in such a hurry that we rush. You can be patient and have a sense of urgency. And I think for Nebraska, they're very interested in being physical and being downhill. And sometimes that comes with a little bit of patience, whether it's a little smoother to the hole or allowing time for plays to develop or just simple trust. That's an interesting word to use for some, but for me, listen, if we're doubling at the point of attack and those guys are going to work their way up to the Mike linebacker, I have to trust that that's going to happen. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to try to do my own thing until something gets me off that path. So there are some little subtle nuances that running backs can do to help out what's happening up front. But I think in the meantime, it's for Nebraska to establish we need to be good at the point of attack, give our backs a chance, let us trust them, and hopefully things will start to take care of themselves.
Run game is going to be so key for the Nebraska defense, as good as the Ohio State backs are. Damon, Will Howard as well, a little bit of quarterback run if they want to. What do you believe about Saturday with Nebraska's front?
I think that's where you have to start. They know that they did not perform up to standard. And it starts with, and people don't want to hear this because they want to fast forward the effort and all of that. And I don't even know how qualified we are to talk about how hard somebody's playing or not. But I will say this, be disciplined in your scheme, right? If there is no hero ball, even if, let's say Ohio State gets off to a good start running the ball. Don't feel like you have to do more than just your job. I go back to the trust word. Trust your scheme. If I'm an A-gap run fitter, I need to get my butt in A gap. Hey, if I'm an edge setter, I need to set the edge. If I'm an alley runner, I need to be coming downhill running the alley. It cannot be based on what I think we need as a defense. It has to be what I think I need to do as my individual role. So I would start there. The next part after that, Schmitty, is Nebraska just has to play better up front, right? You cannot stop the run without being a little more versatile with how you get there. They just were a little too sticky last week, and I didn't think played with enough oomph. I think they'll get back to a little bit of their substitution pattern and try to stay fresh. But if I'm Nebraska's defense and I'm trying to shut down this Ohio State offense, the latter part of that is going to be tough to do, but I would try to make it as one-handed as possible, and you have to start with slowing down the run game.
Well, that's big. Damon, we'll get you out shortly. Thanks again. Was Nebraska, was there too much to try and stop with Indiana? What I mean by that is paralysis by analysis. Was there so much to worry about that they played a step or too slow possibly?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I really do, and I think it also led to a little bit of hero ball. When you have an offense that bases everything they do on triple, which means they want three options, an inside run game, an outside run threat, and a vertical passing threat, it's built on conflict. So there's this natural tendency to want to try to take all three away at once. What you want to do is take one or two away and dictate where the football has to go. So you can get a little fancy with trying to do it all. I'd start with trying to control where you want the ball to go. If you want to take your chances in the vertical passing game, that means I'm committing to inside run and outside run threat. Do with it what you will outside the numbers. If I want to take away outside the numbers and an inside run threat, hey, we'll force you to be an alley running team and hit us off tackle. So you can get into these kind of moments where you try to take it all away. With a team like this that has as many weapons as Ohio State, I'd start sequential. You want to limit the running backs. You want to limit Will Howard in the ground game and take your chances with them throwing it over your head. You can't allow yourself to be demoralized by allowing a team to just hand the football off.
Lastly, Damon, thoughts on Matt Rule and how he's handled the week with just the morale part and, of course, motivation should be there, but you also have some psyche to deal with.
Yeah, I hope they take a page out of his book. He has been almost like Teflon Don. It's never been easy to do anything that he's done throughout his life, and he's always found a way to come out of the back end with some amount of success. So I would continue to invest in his message, which is attack the day. It's more than just football. And you guys got to remember, showing up and playing hard for one another and competing, it's a choice. It's a choice. It doesn't have to be something that Coach Rule has to instill in you. You have a choice to show up every day and compete, and I'd follow his lead because he seems to want to thrive in chaos, and they got the perfect opportunity to do so. It looks a little dark right now. Give yourself a chance to weather the storm by just showing up, and that's something that he models constantly.
Do your Dodgers show up? What's the World Series outcome?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned because we have to have at minimum one bullpen game. If Yamamoto can give us 2 starts, I feel better. But listen, I'm a Dodgers fan and it's the postseason, so I'm undoubtedly going to be nervous. But I will tell you in my hotel room tonight, Schmitty, the Dodgers get the big TV, the computer gets the multi-view from YouTube TV, and the phone gets whatever's extra.
You got your 3 plans of attack. I like it. It is National Fried Food Day. My favorite is the fried egg. What is the foodie Damon Benning's favorite fried food?
You're gonna chuckle and maybe snicker. I gotta go with gizzards. I am a gizzards connoisseur, and when done right, very few things can match. I'm a gizzards guy.
My late father loved gizzards, brother. I never got into them. I'll let you have them all.
At least when we're out together, Schmitty, you wouldn't have to worry about sharing.
No, that's right. David, you take them all. Hey, we'll check in with you at the stadium. Appreciate you much.
I appreciate it. Have a great rest of the show.
It's good stuff from Damon Benning. Hail Varsity live here at the Ohio State Marriott. There is an Elijah Herbal sighting. He has made it. See, he's waving at me. He smells of cheap whiskey. I'm kidding. No, Damon's off to the stadium. It was good to spend time with him, man, and get his perspective on things. Elijah's like, oh, it's not that far to the stadium. Just drove by it. Yeah. Well, it is National Fried Food Day. Fried eggs are incredible. Fried chicken's better. Will, do you have a favorite fried food?
I love
all of it.
The fried chicken sandwich.
Okay.
Oh God.
We will ask Dolman that. We'll also check in with Jacob Padilla. Here in about 5 minutes or so, we'll get Elijah set up and situated as he is set to get here and hunker down. Busy hour 2. Jacob Padilla coming up here in a few minutes. Bill Dolman, Brian Christopherson also with us. I think half of Nebraska media trying to get out had to deal with a flight delay if you left a little later this afternoon. It's supposed to be a noon or a 1 o'clock flight, and it turned into a 2:30 to 3 o'clock flight. But hope everyone got here safe and sound. That's important. Phil Lesh, Grateful Dead, great, passing away today. I know that's been popular in the chat. Captain is asking the question now that the Reverend called to lead off the show. The Reverend got a little too blue and too loose with his language, so we had to dump him. Captain is asking if I'm getting fined for the throat slash that many of you saw on the Hail Varsity YouTube channel, Hail Varsity Radio Twitter. That is the universal taught to us radio sign to dump said caller. If my forehead frowning and crunching up and my laser stare wasn't enough, the throat slash, the Bill Callahan tribute was evident there. All right, Jacob Padilla going to be with us. Good to have you in on a Friday. It's Hail Varsity here on the road in Columbus. This is Elijah.
Weight in the past, but gained it all back and more? Hi, this is Dr. K with Lincoln Weight Loss, and we know the secret to losing weight and keeping it off long-term without drugs or injections. Lincoln Weight Loss can help you lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two and keep it off without prepackaged meals, no exercising, no hormones, no injections, no drugs or surgery. Go to LincolnWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Hey, it's Schmitty here. Are you ready to hit the pool this weekend? I'm more than ready than I used to be after I dropped 30 pounds with the help of Lincoln Weight Loss. To learn about this great program, go to LincolnWeightLoss.com now to schedule your free consultation. Their staff will walk you through the entire program, talk about your health goals, and see if it's a good fit for you. Call 402-520-8170. That's 402-520-8170, or go to LincolnWeightLoss.com. That's LincolnWeightLoss.com.
It's an ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Meet Brian. He just got $5,000, and it was pretty easy. I'll tell you how in 10 seconds. Brian needed cash help. After being rejected by banks, he tried 27cash.com, told them how much he needed, even let them know he had bad credit. In minutes, 27cash.com found a lender who deposited $5,000 into his bank account the very next day. If you need cash help, even if you have bad credit, go to 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Football season is back, and no matter which home team you root for, there's one thing everyone in the Midwest can agree on. If you're tailgating or grilling at home, nothing beats a freshly baked Village Hearth bun. An old-fashioned hot dog bun is the perfect accompaniment for a brat or a hot dog and all the toppings your little heart desires. And for the best burgers, you just can't beat the Village Hearth Classic Bun. So head to the store and pick up some Village Hearth buns. The weekend is almost here.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow. Provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Available online at Amazon.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you at Hail Varsity as we're on the road here in Columbus. We welcome in Jacob Padilla with Hail Varsity and Herd at Sports. Jacob, you got us okay? Thanks for squeezing us in, bud.
Yeah, no problem. On the way down to Lincoln.
I know. You got a little volleyball action, some high school football. I want to get your take, though, on Nebraska tomorrow. You, I don't want to say you had a feeling or put words in your mouth, but you were on point with saying Indiana likes to embarrass people. That's what happened. What's Jacob Padilla's crystal ball say about tomorrow and just the look of things for Big Red football?
Yeah, obviously not optimistic coming out of what we saw last week. Ohio State has that film too, and sure they'll try to exploit Nebraska in some of the same ways that Indiana did with their glut of talent, especially coming off of their loss and their break. You know, they're going to be fired up to get out there. So Nebraska is not going to be able to catch Ohio State, taking them off or underestimating them or taking it easy. They're going to have to go out and earn it. And I think the path forward, they have to, obviously, they needed to get better at running and passing. They did not do either one well last week. But they have to find a solution one way or the other, and I think that will help in the other. So either, I know Satterfield was talking about, hey, I need to commit to the run and all that. And I mean, yeah, that would be nice, but you have to find a way to do it successfully. If you just start running 90% of the time on first and second down, it's not going to help the team any. You have to find a way to be more successful running it, not necessarily just committing to it. And that's, that goes into the schematics and into the week-to-week training in terms of getting guys to execute. Or you have to find some way to get the kind of passing attack off the ground again. You can see, I think that was probably the most disappointing or, I guess, worrying part of that last game is kind of what happened with the passing attack. And you could see Raiola just completely losing confidence in his ability to find guys down the field. He wasn't even looking for downfield targets. Everything was underneath, short. Even when he had time, there just wasn't really anything happening. So whether it's guys simply running their routes better and getting open, creating more separation, or mixing up the routes they are running and changing the way they're calling plays and stuff, they got to find some way to get that confidence back in Raiola because, yeah, it would be nice to have a great running game, but I think Raiola is like your best weapon and your best chance to maybe pull off something against a more talented team. So they got to do better in one area or the other, and hopefully that'll have a trickle-down effect to the rest of the team, but they got to find some answers for sure.
Yeah, answers would be preferable. Columbus, not a place to find them. And you're right on with the confidence of your freshman quarterback. That's got to bounce back. Health-wise, you just wonder about his ankle as well, just from a mobility standpoint. But we'll see if we get some more I formation, Jacob, from Nebraska. But again, the efficiency part's the key thing. You can kick and scream about not running the football, but when you do run it, you got to be, well, worth a damn when you do it. Real quick on the Nebraska defense, do you think they'll come out aggressive, trying to blitz, trying to load up against the run? And if it's going to be a tough day, it's going to be on the arm of Will Howard that does it?
I would imagine that that's going to be the case, what they're going into. The little things and the confidence, being able to execute, no matter what you call. Last week, I know Tony White talked about, like, I don't know why we did some of the things we did last week, but honestly, it didn't really matter. The play calls were going to be last week, I don't think, based on just the way the guys were playing. They didn't win any matchups. They weren't getting off any blocks up front. They weren't plugging the right holes. And then when they did, they weren't completing tackles. So even if you change the way you're calling the game, last week it wasn't going to be successful. They got to get back to making those plays. They got to get back to winning individually, and it starts there. Because if you can have Ty Robinson wrecking shop up front, that changes what Tony White's able to do from a play calling standpoint in terms of being more aggressive and sending guys and being more creative and stuff. But if you got guys just getting blocked too easily up front and not putting the offense in any kind of conflict, then it's just not going to work. So regardless of what the game plan is, we got to see these guys individually play like we've seen them capable of doing in the past. And whether that's confidence or whatever the case may be, that's what they got to see. You got to be able to get off blocks. You got to get to the right hole in the run game. And then you got to complete tackles, because if you miss tackles against Ohio State, then this is going to be just as ugly or worse than it was last week.
Jacob Badil is with us here, Hail Varsity Radio, live in Columbus. Chris Schmidt, and now officially Elijah Herbal in Columbus as well. And Jacob, you talked about execution a little bit there in that last answer. I'm going to dive into that because it was clear early last week that Nebraska's execution wasn't there, from taking a kick return out at the 1, the defense not quite being gap sound in the rushing attack from Indiana. What are some things you're watching for tomorrow early in this one to see if Nebraska can go out there and execute against the Buckeyes? What are some early signs of that?
Yeah, well, I think maybe the biggest one, and it's because of Matt Rule specifically called it out, is the perimeter blocking. Can they spring Ja'Cory Barney for a couple of nice games this week and spread the defense that way? Can they get outside? We know Ramir Johnson's not going to play, but can you get Emmett Johnson to the boundary on a couple of these runs and see if he can pick up some yardage that way? Like, that's I think one specific area that we're going to be watching, because I mean, if Rule is telling us publicly like that's a focus, and they go out and it's the exact same thing, that's a really bad sign. So whether it's different players in those roles, or it's the same guys finding a way to execute at a better level, that's what we need to see this week, because it's something that Rule specifically called out, like, hey, this is hurting us. I'm letting you know this is hurting us. And if you can't fix the things that you've identified as problems, then it's going to be a long second half of the season.
Jacob, will get you out about 45 seconds. Huskers in Illinois tonight for volleyball. Any problems tonight for the Big Red, do you anticipate?
Probably not, but Illinois hasn't lost since Nebraska went to Champaign and swept them there, and they've only lost 3 total sets since then. So Illinois is playing at a better level than they were when Nebraska faced them previously. And then you got Michigan tomorrow as well, and Michigan's one of the kind of surprise teams in the Big Ten so far. They've already won as many Big Ten games as they did last year. So while you're not facing top 10 teams this week, these are teams that you got to take seriously, and you got to go out and execute. And it's the teams where Cook says any win in the Big Ten is a good win, because you got teams like these that, yeah, they're not ranked teams, but they're capable. So, yeah, it's just another test of, hey, Nebraska, a long season. Are you going to be locked in and week out to play the way that you need to play?
Jacob, be good. Appreciate you as always, bud.
Yep, thanks for having me,
guys. Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hello, Nebraska. It's your all-time favorite president, Donald J. Trump. And Deb Fisher has been a supporter of mine from the beginning, and she's been a friend of mine. She does a very, very good job. She's solid as a rock. She's totally for the farmers. She wants the state of Nebraska taken care of. So it's very important that we get out and support her. We want somebody that's going to be strong, powerful, and great for our country. And it's not going to be Dan Osborne. He's a radical left person, really a Bernie Sanders type Democrat.
President Trump knows Dan Osborne supports the Green New Deal, a socialist takeover of health care, and amnesty for illegal immigrants. But Deb Fisher is on his side.
Vote for Deb Fisher. She has my complete and total endorsement. She will continue to make you proud.
Deb Fisher for Senate.
I'm Deb Fisher, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Deb Fisher for U.S. Senate.
Why should Nebraskans believe anything Deb Fisher says about Dan Osborne when Fisher's made a career out of breaking her promises, like her promise on term limits?
I do believe in term limits at the federal level, and I would term limit myself.
The special interests who've made Deb a millionaire will say anything to keep her in office. This November, don't get catfished. Vote no on Deb Fisher's lies.
Retired Career Politicians PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Hi, this is Jason Ball, President and CEO of the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. Look, I know we've all seen and heard the ads, and it's hard to forget, but it's important to note we've got an election coming up on Tuesday, November 5th. So please vote, and there are numerous resources for you to get informed. At lcoc.com, we've compiled candidate questionnaires and their answers for local state legislative seats, as well as links to the Lancaster County Election Commissioner's website, Lancaster County Voter Information Guide, and more. The Lincoln Chamber remains committed to working with all elected officials to make Lincoln the very best community it can be, regardless of political affiliation. And this chamber does not endorse or contribute to specific candidates, but rather we focus on our general education.
Hail Varsity Radio is live. Now, back to Schmitty.
Schmitty's a great guy, but he don't have a brain.
And Elijah.
You want me to speak? When I point at you, yeah.
On Hail Varsity Radio.
Winding down this first hour here in the Columbus Marriott, the Ohio State Marriott. We're about a mile and a half from Ohio Stadium. Chris Schmidt, the Elijah Herbal.
Oh, don't start with that.
And Will Wilson with us back in our studio. Big thanks to Jacob Padilla. Big thanks to Damon Benning. Brian Christopherson, going to be with us next hour. Proud of Fairbury, Bill Dolman, the professor, and then the Friday forecast. So our friend with Ohio State NIL.
Kevin here.
Yeah, Kevin. I didn't know if you wanted. Well, it's Mr. Kevin. Mr. Kevin.
We're not going last name. We're keeping it somewhat confidential.
He's he's hooking up Ohio State NIL, and the idea we were talking about what you would pay. This might have been a week and a half ago. It's a blur to run out during the tunnel walk because of the Penn State fan. They got to run out at the USC game, but some Ohio State fan would probably give a kidney and their firstborn on top of a check with several zeros and commas to dot the I. So I heard the band practicing when I was walking to the stadium to see where we enter in so we don't have a Boulder fiasco.
Yeah, and as a former band nerd, my brother was in the marching band at Nebraska. My sister is currently in the marching band at Nebraska. I am excited to see one of the best bands in the country, if not the best band in the country, play tomorrow. I know that's not why people pay the money, buy the flight, and come out here, but I'm excited for the Ohio State band. May I humbly submit that my rideshare driver, I will not say Uber, Lyft, or what company, I think he should dot the I the way he got me to this hotel today through traffic.
Was he swapping paint?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many traffic laws were broken on the way here.
Was his name Carl from Youngstown?
It was not, but he was driving on the shoulder, going
Seriously?
through traffic. Yeah, it was wild.
He said, You're the radio mustache. Let me get you to the
It was
show.
not, the whole time he was complaining. He's like, "This is my last ride of the day. This traffic's insane." As he's just driving on the shoulder.
Is he just laying on his horn?
Yeah.
Was death metal playing?
No, it was like nice. I'm not sure what you'd call it, like West African drum music.
Oh,
yeah.
So it was calming as you're watching. You're holding on for dear life. Were you in the front or the back? Were you in the death seat or were you in the back seat?
I was in the back.
Were you holding on to the, where you usually hang the laundry or the?
I was confident in his driving abilities. He seemed confident because he was swerving through traffic while showing me a picture of the fall leaves on his phone.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah, it was a time getting over here, but he made great time. He shaved.
Yes, he did. He shaved a half hour off.
No, he shaved a good. I think based on the time when he picked me up, it's 7 minutes he shaved off, so he got a nice healthy tip and a 5-star rating. He got me here.
Like just holding on to the handlebar where you put the old pressed pants and the starched shirt,
the OS handle.
Oh yes,
the OS handle. Yeah,
that's a good call. Will, your wheels are turning.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to know what the tip was because that should have been at least a $10 tip.
Was it $30 to get here?
It was $30 to get here. Plus, I think it was a $7 and change tip. So
okay. I mean, I've tipped both my Uber drivers 25%, about $9.
That's about where I was. Yeah.
Well done. I love it. The OS handle. I love it. That's a good.
You never heard that one before?
No.
It's the S is short for something.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm using it now. Bill Dolman, grab your OS handle as the Pride of Fairbury. He's got his Rambo gear on, and he'll be ready to go next hour.
Kamala's inflation is damn near costing me everything. But Dan Osborne is siding with them, not us. Osborne supports amnesty for illegal aliens and wants to give our jobs away to foreign workers. He'll give them our Social Security, too. Dan Osborne, same old Democrat BS, just a different D.C. puppet.
I'm Deb Fisher. I'm running for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Fisher Victory Fund.
Join Deb Fisher's team. Give today. FisherVictoryFund.com.
Fall is the perfect time to get outdoors. Hey, I'm Hershey with your Nebraska Game and Parks, here to give you the inside scoop with the outdoor experts on Outdoor Nebraska. Join me every Saturday morning at 9:45 a.m. for Outdoor Nebraska right here on KFOR.
Hello, neighbor. Welcome to Pumpkin Time at Super C Convenience Stores. Yep, it's pumpkin season. Pumpkin treats, pumpkin snacks, pumpkin spice, and pumpkin creamer in your coffee. Maybe even a pumpkin donut or pumpkin muffin. However you celebrate pumpkin season, Super C has your pumpkin fix. And with Super C Rewards, you can get rewarded for every pumpkin purchase you make. On fuel, car washes, hot snacks, and cool treats. Super C, celebrating pumpkin season at all 11 area locations. They're always happy to see you rewarded.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you can use that money towards scoring courtside seats for your favorite team. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can score courtside seats. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but courtside seats can be astronomical. Maybe if your team plays in a smaller market, you could swing it. Even still, it's unlikely. Maybe fourth row, which are still incredible seats that you'll enjoy greatly. Savings possible. Courtside, long shot. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Progressive cannot guarantee that someone really tall will not sit in front of you at the game, rendering your excellent seats just okay.
This is your station for local news, talk, sports, and weather. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. ABC News has confirmed that Donald Trump's cell phone is among the targets of a Chinese hack attack. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
A joint statement from the FBI and CISA, the federal cybersecurity agency, says actors affiliated with the People's Republic of China have sought unauthorized access to commercial telecommunications infrastructure. Sources say the targets include cell phones used by former President Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance. The Trump campaign blames the White House, saying in a statement that the Democrats have emboldened China and Iran and, quote, stood by and allowed major foreign adversaries to attack us.
A source familiar with the investigation tells ABC News it's believed both major political parties were targeted. In Texas, Vice President Kamala Harris, when asked about some Democrats saying she's focusing too much on Trump's threats to democracy and not enough on the economy.
One of the things that I love about the American people is we can hold many thoughts at once.
For the first time in 36 years, the Washington Post will not endorse a presidential candidate. The paper's union and media reporters say the Post's owner, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, killed an editorial that has been prepared endorsing Kamala Harris. On the Mideast wars, this according to ABC's Tom Soufi-Burridge in Tel Aviv.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken meeting with Lebanon's caretaker prime minister. Remember, there is a government in Lebanon, but the real power broker in the country is Hezbollah. So the U.S. deals directly with the Lebanese government. It doesn't deal with Hezbollah, which it regards as a terrorist organization. Blinken saying there's a real need, an urgency to end the war in Lebanon right now. The Jordanian foreign minister at that meeting saying the region is on the brink of a wider regional war. There is a sense that is already underway.
A mixed day for the Wall Street major indexes. Despite more solid corporate earnings reports, the Dow and the S&P closed lower, the NASDAQ higher. You're listening to ABC News.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Everyone on the road is trying to make it to their destination safely. You can help by staying aware of the large trucks and buses around you. They take longer to stop, have large blind spots, and make wide turns that require caution from other drivers. It takes all of us working together to share the road safely. Learn more at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov. Paid for by FMCSA.
There's a new Chief Justice. Hello, I'm Will Wilson. It's 64 degrees at KFOR. Nebraska Supreme Court Judge Jeff Funk was appointed today to be the new Chief Justice of the state's High Court. Funk thanked Governor Pillen, Lieutenant Governor Joe Kelly, and the Judicial Nominating Commission for their work in the selection process.
The trust and confidence they have placed in me to follow in the shoes of Chief Justice Heavican is not lost on me. The importance of this job and the fine work that has been done for the last 18 years by the chief.
The vacancy results from the retirement of Chief Justice Mike Heavican, who is departing next Thursday after 18 years on the bench. Before joining the state's High Court in 2016 through an appointment by then-Governor Pete Ricketts, Funk practiced law privately in Otoe County and served on the district court for Cass, Sarpy, and Otoe counties. A North Platte woman is suing McDonald's, claiming she got sick from E. coli in their food. Clarissa DeBach filed the suit against the fast food chain. The E. coli outbreak in 10 states has been traced back to some onions grown at a California farm that were used on the quarter pounder sandwich. 9 people in Nebraska, including one in Lancaster County, have gotten sick as a result of the outbreak. Our candidate previews continue today with a look at District 4 with the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners. The race features Chelsea Johnson and David Russell, as one of them invited Succeed County Board member Roma Amundsen, who is not seeking re-election. KFOR News talked to Johnson, who said there needs to be recruitment and retention for more law enforcement as the city and county grow.
My approach is always to take kind of the direction and insight from the experts. And so, what the Lincoln Police Department and the County Sheriff's Office, indicate they need in order to accomplish their job.
We did seek an interview with Russell, who said in an email reply to KFOR News there wouldn't be time for an interview, but appreciated the offer. High school football tonight on KFOR features Lincoln East playing number 7 Lincoln Southeast. Coverage begins at 6:50, brought to you by the KFOR Sportscasters Club. Mostly clear tonight with a low near 35. I'm Will Wilson, KFOR News.
KFOR is giving Lincoln students a chance to vote. Wednesday, October 30th, students in grades 4 through 12 will cast their ballots in a mock election with some of the same candidates and issues you'll see on your ballot. KFOR Student Vote is all about educating students to become voters, having fun in the process, and then making it more likely for them to become active citizens and lifelong voters. Listen and answer questions to help your student as they make their own informed choices. Results will be posted on KFOR and KFORnow.com.
Keep up with the local news, sports, your favorite talk shows, and pro shows on KFOR wherever you roam.
Stream us 24/7 at KFORnow.com or on your mobile. You can download the free iHeart or TuneIn app and stream KFOR on the go.
The following is a paid program. He's the pride of Fairbury, an average Joe. Bill Dolman, the professor.
I had a 6 ACT in 1967. One time I got an A and my grandma beat me for cheating.
Now with Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, day 2 here in Columbus, the Marriott, Ohio State Marriott. We're about a mile and a half from the stadium. The trees in this town are all sorts of gorgeous. The gold, the auburn, what else? Not any green. Kind of the rust looking.
There's a little bit of like yellowish green poking through,
Yeah.
but yeah, you got like 4 different colors. It was beautiful driving in here.
It was cool.
That's why my Uber / Lyft / rideshare driver was scrolling through the pictures on his phone as he was driving us.
Yeah. Bill Dolman with this, pride of Fairbury. Elijah has deemed the those handles in the back seat, or the that kind of drop down above the window, the OS handle. and I love it. I love that nickname, and it's appropriate for so many things. That's the thought bubble for a lot of Husker fans, Bill, going from Indiana.
Where's the handle?
Where's the handle into Ohio State? We're here at the team hotel. Huskers are grubbing right now, and they've been able to find their way to the meeting rooms and all that good stuff. But Bill, it's gonna be fun tomorrow to see what Nebraska comes out, not only with on offense, but just from a mindset. It was frowned upon, correct or not, to have an OS handle in Fairbury growing up.
I was wondering where it was for Matt Rule and the football program on Tuesday afternoon during that press conference. I think they could have used one of those, and Nebraska fans have been clutching and reaching and grabbing whatever they can, have been over the last couple of days. Things have settled down since those comments, and now it's game time, and it's just really wait and see. I don't sense any anxiety. I think that came on Tuesday, and maybe there was a realization in that press conference that this is where we are right now. It's probably not going to stay the same going forward, whether it's now, like Oklahoma makes a change in midseason. Nebraska's, I just do not believe Nebraska is going to do that. But I just get this sense of, well, here's we are. We're at Ohio State. They're coming off a loss. They've got Penn State next week. We have got to have the kind of performance where there is just a lot of positives to take from it if it's not going to be a win, which nobody anticipates. Could it happen? Sure. Maybe Ohio State, can't hold on to the football. Maybe there's an inordinate amount of flags at the wrong times for them. Maybe they just don't play well, right?
Maybe Carl comes back and is on Nebraska's sideline.
Look, it could happen, right? It could happen. But I just get the sense over the last couple of days, Nebraska fans are not getting invested in this game, right? Even go back to last year's Michigan game at home. There was an investment in there that is it possible? Maybe. And then the guy makes a catch off of the helmet at the end of, in the first quarter. And it's, probably not. I just get the sense that there is a resignation of here we are. Just get through it and get to a winnable game next week against UCLA.
Bill, can that lack of expectation from Husker Nation, the fact that, a lot of Husker fans don't think Nebraska is going to be able to stand a chance tomorrow, can that help Nebraska because of the playing free element, I guess?
How long can that last? You said you kind of cut out there on me.
Oh, so the playing free element of things, can that help this team tomorrow, considering there are low expectations?
Absolutely.
For this game?
Absolutely. And I think that's kind of the way this, especially defensively, that the team is kind of built. Play free to your athleticism. You know, you don't go out and get fast players to try to see what you can do to slow them down. You want them to play to their speed, no matter what the position is. You know, if it's a wide receiver, it's to get down the field faster than the defensive back you blew by and throw the ball as far as you can and catch it. That's the most simple form of the passing game. Or you've got fast rush ends. Get to the quarterback, beat the tackle that's in front of you, beat the back that's trying to block you, and get to the quarterback. We saw that in the Colorado game defensively, where they played, free with a spirit and enthusiasm. But, we talked about it on the Average Joe Sports Show and I think Gary Sharp brought it up. Is it paralysis by analysis and too much thinking and not just going out and playing and enjoying playing for playing's sake? And I think Nebraska's lost a little bit of that and certainly lost it the last 3 quarters of the game, if they ever had it at all in Bloomington. Why not find it now? Just play free and play as many guys as you can, right? What was it last year at the Minnesota game? They played like 24, 25 guys defensively. Do it again. Just keep rotating guys in there. Go make a play.
They are bringing some of the freshmen that you have heard about on the road tonight and for tomorrow. So there's some freshmen that you're seeing for the first time on the travel squad. I don't think you're going to see Tommy Hill tomorrow. And I'm interested to see just what the mobility is like for Dylan. And I'm also interested to see, what the run game can be, Bill, with Liebentritt, Emmett backfield, trying to kind of go hammer football, as you hear some Nebraska fans that just left the bar and they are ready to take on downtown Columbus. The backdrop to me is the hotel bar, and I will say their whiskey selection is exquisite. Not overdone, Bill, before you judge me, but just a sample last night.
Oh, well, is it as good as the single barrel, which I think is fabulous myself? But
nothing is as good as a single barrel.
Yeah, I prefer the home field advantage.
I know. I'm a home field guy too.
I'm interested to see the travel roster. I have not. I've been educating, but I'm interested in that travel roster to see what kind of freshmen are going to get, a taste of their, 1 to 4 games before they go back into the redshirt closet. Last week I think would have been a good week in the second half to let Danny Kalen play. Games decided, just get out there, take some snaps, get used to it. I think if Dylan is limited for whatever reason, if there is a shoulder problem, foot problem, score problem, then, let Heinrich Harburg do what Heinrich Harburg can do. He's mature enough to handle playing in Columbus. He's mature enough to handle playing against Ohio State. He played Michigan last year. So let Heinrich Harburg go out there and take some snaps at quarterback and toss the ball around. And you don't want to, get him out there and get hurt either. But, I would say, as I filibuster while you guys continue to work the room in Columbus.
We got to shout out Sandy. Sandy's a longtime listener, and she just said, "What's up?" So we had to say hello.
Yeah, and a lot of people love her.
People want to hear more from you anyway, dude. Let the doctor do his thing.
Well, tell Sandy a lot of people love her Elk Creeks. So, look, I think tomorrow, if you brought him, play him. Freshman, I don't think anybody's going to go out there, and if things don't go well, they're going to get so damaged that they're not going to recover. And I mean that mentally, that they get overwhelmed by Ohio State and they just realize this is not for me. No, just get them out there and let them play. Don't put any pressure on anybody, and you might find a gem that can help you out in 3 other games during the course of the rest of the season. But again, going back to what I was saying, I think that if Dylan is not playing up to what people hope he can play like and what they saw in some of the games in the non-conference, then let Heinrich Harburg have a shot at it, and it's only going to help him. He's still got some eligibility, but how do you perform against Ohio State? He's got hopes and future in football too. You play well on the road in Columbus, people will remember that when it comes to April of 26.
Simply put, Bill, if Nebraska does hang around in this game, is it a game where Dylan needs to live up to that 5-star acumen? Is this the one where that he needs to shoulder the load of the offense, in your opinion, or did the comments about running the football this week from Satterfield and Rourke change that for you?
Well, Satterfield's comments give me pause about a lot of things. Okay. And if the goal is to get 1 to 3 yards on the ground, then Dylan can do that for you too. The
old tush push.
Just scramble.
Look, I think you'd love to see him play a little carefree and don't put it so much pressure. Dylan Raiola is not going to beat Ohio State on his own. That's just not going to happen. And he can't go into the game thinking, I have to be perfect to win this game of all games. Can he carry the team to a win over UNI and UTEP and, even Colorado, or keep them competitive against Illinois? Yeah, you probably rely on him quite a bit. But this is not a game where he needs to go in and think, if I don't, we won't. And think about this. Look, he's had some questionable interceptions, and he's had some really ugly interceptions. Last week, especially at Indiana. He understands what that's like. Yet he's going against Ohio State. They can pick off just about anything. So try to complete some passes. And if you can go downfield and stretch it, you've got fast guys on the outside, then do it. Take a shot every now and then. You're going to get a DPI probably in this league, and maybe somebody runs under it and catches it and puts you in field goal range.
Put you in fourth and manageable. That's what it does. Bill Dolman with us, Pride of Fairbury, the professor, and your man with the Average Joe Sports Show podcast. Bill, we'll get your prediction here in a little bit, but there's a lot of buzz for the World Series, Yanks, Dodgers, and I know I'm kind of surprised you weren't teaching today in your Davy Lopes jersey.
Well, I just think it's great that baseball is able to get a couple of underdogs and give them an opportunity on the biggest stage in the game to show what they can do. I just don't think, the Dodgers and the Yankees, you don't hear a lot about them. And so for two, underdog organizations like this to get to the big stage, Kansas City did it a few years ago. So I just feel good for teams like that when they can overcome all the politics and financial, the financial differential in baseball. So good on those two organizations. No, I'm not a Royals fan, loose lips. I've been a Dodger fan since Davy Lopes took to the field in the early 1970s. The pride of East Providence, Rhode Island, born on May 3rd, 1946.
Wicked awesome.
Greatest second baseman in the history of baseball. Ron Say, Steve Garvey, Steve Yeager, Mark Cressy, the greatest bullpen catcher in the history of the game.
Jackie was pretty good. I'm going to go Jeff Kent and his porn stash is pretty good. And the man that is Ryan Sandberg is better than your Davy Lopes.
Well, it's debatable, but okay, whatever.
And the guy I love.
I will forgive you because you just left happy hour there. So
Murray Wills was incredible too. I loved him. He was a Dodger second baseman.
A wonderful guy. Got a chance to meet him during Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball when he was in Fargo.
Yeah.
Baseball is going to enjoy having these two organizations for the next 2 weeks. Go at it. I'm not sure the Dodgers are going to get it done because apparently they have 3 starting pitchers and a whole bunch of bullpen guys. But they do have the most electric player of this generation and one of the probably most electric 9 players of all time in Shohei Ohtani. So it's a fun World Series matchup whether people want to see the Dodgers and the Yankees jerseys. But if you just line these two teams up and played them in shirts and skins, I think it'd be a pretty compelling series to watch just because of the personalities and the talent and the leaders that those teams have.
And Doug's all in with Joe Morgan. Good call on Joe Morgan.
No, bad call.
What's your take?
He's a red and played for the Giants.
Well, but Joe Morgan himself was incredible. So Game Dog's asking a question here, Bill, with your TV background. What do you think the viewership ends up being?
Well, I don't think it's going to be near 42 million viewers per game. That's just not going to happen in this era of so many other options to watch. In 78? That was the only game in town, only game on TV. You had Monday Night Football on a Monday night and whatever TV crime dramas, Mannix, Barnaby Jones, back in 1978. So of course, a lot of people are going to tune in to watch the Yankees and the Dodgers, two of the more storied franchises. I think you will be probably in the double digits in millions, probably maybe 15 to 20 million, but not 42 million.
I got to ask you, did it bother you in the 80s that games were constantly delayed because of Pedro Guerrero and they had to keep chalk in the line?
He wasn't the only one back in those days.
I know, brother.
Yeah.
He was good at it. Bill, a new score prediction.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask before we get you out. Score prediction.
Dodgers in 6.
Okay.
I think we were talking about Nebraska, but that works.
Oh, well, I was trying to avoid the subject.
Dodgers in 6. No, the Nebraska game, Big Cat.
I think the Dodgers will be spurred on by Fernando Valenzuela.
Sure.
So, look, I think Nebraska's competitive. So I think it's going to be better than it was last week. So I think Nebraska 34, Ohio State 27. I think they're more competitive this week than last.
34-27, Big Red, says
Yeah.
Billy D. Bill, we'll talk to you Sunday morning.
All right, at 9:30.
9:30, Average Joe Pod.
See ya.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Herd at Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Whose team is Dan Osborne on? The D.C. Democrats. Osborne says he loves Bernie Sanders. He promised to vote to pass their Green New Deal, which would destroy farming and ranching in Nebraska. And Osborne is on record saying he would reward illegal aliens entering our state with amnesty and Social Security benefits.
There definitely needs to be a clear path to citizenship. Just give him a damn Social Security card.
The Green New Deal would cost us our jobs. Illegal immigration costs us our security. If Dan Osborne wins, we lose. But Deb Fischer and President Trump are on our team. Deb will work with President Trump to secure our border. And she'll fight the left's big government agenda, threatening our jobs and freedoms. Trump's choice and Nebraska's voice. Deb Fischer for Senate.
I'm Deb Fischer. I'm running for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Fisher Victory Fund. Join Deb Fischer's team. Give today. FisherVictoryFund.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
There's a lot of confusion around women's health care on your November ballot. To protect women and children, you have to vote on 2 separate initiatives. Vote for Initiative 434 and vote no on Initiative 439. That's voting for, and voting no on 9. Vote for clear, scientific, compassionate standards that protect women and doctors. Vote no on 9 against vague, unscientific laws that invite government intrusion. Vote for to preserve parents' right to know when their daughters are in crisis. Vote no on 9 against care by those who aren't licensed physicians. Vote for to
And now,
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Here at the Ohio State Marriott Hail Varsity Roadshow. Don't forget, tomorrow, the weekend edition will be on Central Time, 7:30 Central till about 9 or a little after 9 o'clock before we got to start marching towards OHIO Stadium. Real Red Reaction follows. Post-game show probably around 2:30. Whenever the game's done, we'll get back here. Elijah Herbal made his way in. Barely, and he had the death ride, the death ride that got him here quicker than if he was riding shotgun at the Indy 500. We welcome in Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7 Sports. Excited to say hi to BC. BC, how's your travel day been? Give us an update. How is your patience?
It's good. I'm at Chicago Midway, A12 gate. Bruns is enjoying something over at Harry Carey's. I can see him. He's about 50 yards from me. It's good. We're going through Chicago to Cincinnati to do a Zach Taylor feature. We're not going to meet up with Zach, but we are going to Cincinnati. Then we have to drive 2 hours to Columbus. So we did not take the most direct route, but we'll get there, I think.
Midway's a nice little gem. I like it. Does he have an IV at Harry Carey's?
He's got an IPA lined up, it looks like. I'm about to join him. So we've got a couple. Yeah, we got a couple hours here till we're leaving. So this is where we are. We're setting up shop here and waiting for the big showdown tomorrow. The big noon showdown. You can't beat that, right?
What's your estimated time of arrival into Columbus? If you have a couple more hours there, plus a drive from Cincinnati, what time are you getting in tonight?
Well, we're staying in Cincinnati.
Okay.
So we're getting there at like 10. And then I assume we're going to get up pretty early because it's a couple hours. And, a lot of people would love to just like get paid and go watch a football game. So this is not complaining for me. This is fine. But yeah, we're kind of, what was that show? Was it Carmen Sandiego? That show when I was a kid, like where they're all over the place. Yeah, it's something a little like that. And that reference is beyond some people. Probably Elijah. That's past you probably, but that's a show that's a show I think of right now.
I like it. Well, I'm going to jump on that all over the place reference and ask you if the offense is more direct tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm not saying to be haphazard about it, but I'd like a little more aggression in the downfield passing game, and I'd like to see. Dylan was kept in the game of sort of a lopsided result last week to grow from it. And so I think tomorrow's an opportunity in certain points in that game. Let's see that arm. Let's see some zip on it. I just thought the passing game last week was kind of tentative. Again, you got to have some balance with what I'm talking about here with your aggression. And Nebraska needs some effectiveness on those first and second downs where you're ideally putting Dylan in at least like 3rd and 5 or something where you can make some hay. But I just hope they come with a real competitive mindset. I know everybody outside the walls of the program is kind of ducking behind the couch for this game. I think, and I hope that they don't go into it at all like that. And they kind of follow their head coach's advice where, hey, you're playing against guys who are going to play in the NFL. There's guys on this team who we think are playing in the NFL. Go perform, go fight, go test yourself. And you have to go in with that mindset that you belong. And so this is a big mental game, I think, for this team. It's probably about that as much as all the other stuff. Obviously, Ohio State's gifted, and there's a reason they're favored by 25 points. But if Nebraska's minds are right and they go to fight, this is a chance to show that last week was more of an outlier and they're a better football team than that. So they need to take that opportunity.
Brian Christopherson with us here, Hail Varsity Radio. And Brian, as you talk about that mental game, I asked a similar question last segment to Bill Dolman. I want to reset it with you. With what Matt Rule said this offseason, Chasing 3, about changing your jump shot when the lights are bright, when the game's on the line, whenever there's people in the crowd, do you think it could be an advantage for Nebraska, the fact that, I mean, the whole state is kind of counting them out of this football game? And when you turn around and compare it to Ohio State, they're under pressure following what happened against Oregon. They lost a game. They got Penn State next week. I don't think it's a look-ahead spot, but it could be advantage Nebraska in that, you know what, the pressure really isn't on Nebraska because the whole state's kind of written them off already.
Yeah, it's a good point because last week was a pressure game for Nebraska, and I think they felt it. I think they knew that it was a golden opportunity to break through against ranked teams and, you know, against the Indiana program that hasn't been on that stage before. So there was kind of this expectation, hey, go handle your business. This week, as you say, everybody's sort of like, it's just going to be a blowout. Yeah, when people are like that on the outside, I do think it can loosen you up on the inside if you believe that you can compete and you have what it takes to go against the guy across from you. And that's where, especially on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, Nebraska's got like 7 or 8 seniors. Some of these guys are 22, 23 years old. They've played as much football as anybody on that field tomorrow. They've had some really good games. I would have reminded those guys this week about, like, I know Colorado couldn't run the ball, so this is a different animal, but Colorado's a good offense that's had success against a lot of teams. And I would remind those guys, you shut them down. And you have had games like against Rutgers where the ball's on your 2-yard line and you stop them on 6 plays. So believe in yourself that you can do that sort of stuff. And take that mindset that you had going into the CU week into this game, like, hey, we're one of the top 10 defenses in the country, even if everybody doesn't think we are and they think we stink right now. So I don't know. Can you get a team to believe that after what happened last Saturday? And can they cover up the leaks that were exposed in that? That's a big question. But that does make this game a little bit interesting to me in the sense that this is a Husker defense that, if they play to their capabilities, I still think can play pretty good football.
Brian Christopherson's with us, Hail Varsity Radio Roadshow here. The Ohio State Marriott will be back tomorrow morning, 7:30 Central for pregame, then Real Red Reaction. BC and Bruntsey, the tag team duo, making their way to cover the Big Red for Husker 24/7 Sports. BC, are we at the point where we start maybe seeing even more younger guys get some time tomorrow and the rest of the year?
I don't think you're going to see a ton of it because I think, I mean, you still owe it to your football team to put the best possible guys to give you a chance to win. Now, if this game gets out of hand, the last quarter and a half or something, I think you'll see that like last week. However, there's certain guys like Carter Nelson who played the most snaps he's had last week. Ja'Cory Barney played 47 snaps. So I think both those guys are definitely going to see their snap count climb. Maybe there's a guy or two on the defensive side. I think there could be an interesting addition or two on the travel roster and maybe someone we haven't seen yet. So those parts are something to watch. However, you know, it's hard to just throw like an 18-year-old who hasn't played yet onto the field in a game like this. And in some ways it can be a disservice to them. So you have to be a little bit careful about it. But yeah, I think it will be interesting to see which names sort of emerge as we get into November amongst those like true freshmen and who starts to get more of a snap count.
Run game, I formation, more fullback, play action. Is that part of the formula tomorrow, Bud?
Could be. I mean, and I think really, again, talking about mindset, like perimeter blocking was a popular topic this week and how it has been substandard. There's got to be some guys who really look in the mirror there and like, okay, there's a bubble screen to Ja'Cory Barney. I have to get that block. I have to get this guy as the max yards he can to help him and help my team. And so hopefully guys are buying into that. But yeah, I think you could see a little bit more power football on certain occasions. I'd like to see a little more Harburg. I don't want to go overboard with it, but I think he adds a dimension with the option that you could throw into this game.
Brian Christopherson with us here, Hail Varsity Radio. And Brian, give me a guy or two that if Nebraska keeps this close, you think are going to have to step up tomorrow? The guys that are your MVP type performers if this thing's a game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Ty Robinson. I think, he's obviously been really good the first half of the season. It felt like him and Nash were neutralized last week. So if Ty and Nash can just be problems tomorrow and kind of make themselves known, that's a big deal. Obviously, you could say Dylan, but, like Jamal Banks. Jamal Banks is a guy that's going to have to make some big catches, and he's going to have to be a better blocker. So guys like him. And then if it's going to be a game, you're going to need to see like Jalen Lloyd, or someone like that pop up with like a 55-yard touchdown that sort of stuns the stadium and rocks Ohio State back a little bit. So, they've got guys who can be explosive, but they're going to have, not a ton of opportunities for those kind of plays. So they're going to just have to bat a really high percentage when they arrive. And so that's going to be the key. Like, can you get to like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and then can you be like a 50% conversion team tomorrow? And then when you have like maybe 2 plays where you can hit on a home run, can you hit them? And if you do, who knows? Maybe you're making them sweat a little bit into the third quarter. And that's what I hope for. Like, even if this ends up a 21 to 28 point game, I want to see Nebraska compete where Ohio State has to work their way to that score, if that makes sense. And it's not some 42-6 game with 3 minutes left in the third quarter where the 4 stringers are playing. So there are different, you guys know, there's different ways to win a game by 28 points or something. Like, I want to see Ohio State have to fight for this and Nebraska to scrap and make them do that.
Brian, as we wind things down here and get you out, you're going to be making a stop at Skyline Chili while you're in Ohio. I've been thinking about it. Down the road here, founded in Cincinnati. They're staying in Cincinnati. It looks...
Yeah.
We get a thumbs up here from Kevin. I'm dubious, but...
Ohio State NIL, Kevin. We're going to go with Kevin to dinner tonight. He just didn't know it yet.
Yeah, I would definitely do the Skyline Chili. Now, I don't know if it's wise with this time frame we have. So we're going to be getting in. We're getting in at 10 o'clock there. I don't think that's a smart play tonight for sure. You guys might know tomorrow if we did that. So I won't go any further with that. So I don't think we do that. But tomorrow night, maybe. Like, if we can get back to Cincinnati by 7 or 8, maybe. Still a gamble. You got to fly back Sunday. I don't know. It's a tough call. You guys understand the
Brunsey and BC on speaking to one another for a week.
That'd be a rough car ride tomorrow.
You take care, BC. Thank you much.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Severson, ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Meet Brian. He just got $5,000, and it was pretty easy. I'll tell you how in 10 seconds. Brian needed cash help. After being rejected by banks, he tried 27cash.com. Told them how much he needed, even let them know he had bad credit. In minutes, 27cash.com found a lender who deposited $5,000 into his bank account the very next day. If you need cash help, even if you have bad credit, go to 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
The real difference between Deb Fisher and independent Dan Osborne. Fisher's bought and paid for by special interests and corporations. Osborne's not.
Deb Fisher's had 12 years to do something about the border. She voted against the border bill that was drafted by Republicans because she takes money from big ag.
Securing the border. It takes a working man to get the job done. That's Dan Osborne.
Retired career politicians PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Hello, person listening to the radio. I'm going to tell you about my new Harry's razor while I shave. Each Harry's razor has 5 sharp German-engineered blades and a lubricating strip with aloe for extra comfort. It's an incredibly smooth, comfortable, and close shave.
Are you almost finished in there? Who are you talking to in the bathroom?
I'm making an ad for Harry's.
I hope you have clothes on.
Doesn't matter if I do or don't. It's a radio ad. The awesome orange handle looks great in my bathroom, too. And the best part is, Harry's razor blade refills are as little as $2, which is a fraction of the price of other leading 5-blade razors. Do your face a favor and try one out today.
Are they going to hear me in this ad?
Of course not. Don't worry. Go back to sleep.
Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com/simple. That's harrys.com/simple.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use?
No, it's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, Hail Varsity Road Show here in Columbus. Day 2 of our 3-day extravaganza. Don't forget, Real Red Reaction follows Nebraska, Ohio State tomorrow. A lot of Husker fans are here. We're not far from the bar area. Elijah made his way here about 4:45 Central. The mother of all Uber or Lyft or rideshare drivers. The guy had on goggles and a football helmet and got Elijah here in record time. Let us welcome in. He's imaginary.
We don't have him yet.
Okay, we're working on Clausburn. We'll see if Claus checks in. Claus was traveling, so we'll see if it can happen. Otherwise, we'll give you our forecast, and away we go. 489-1240, 489-1240, 800-825-5865. You want to give us your prediction and shout it out, or just put it in your back pocket for tomorrow morning. Weekend edition gets going at 7:30. So let's rock and roll with the forecast, fellas, and see if Claus jumps in and joins in. We'll start off with Notre Dame at Navy. And it was funny to hear Coach Barnett talk about his conversation with Fitz and the true fear of Army or Navy staying unbeaten, getting into the playoff, and running the table because nobody can defend the option, let alone get prepped for it within a week. That's very real. Also, you have the talent disparity that is very real with Notre Dame at Navy, -12. I think Notre Dame wins. I think Navy and Army are both awesome to watch. I love option football. But Notre Dame survives this thing, and I think they have the ball just enough. They get just enough stops on the run game to get out of Annapolis with a win. I think it's going to be lower scoring. Give me Notre Dame 24, Navy 17.
The big unknown to me here is playing in Annapolis, playing at Navy. What is that crowd going to be like for Navy? They're undefeated. I don't know. The talent disparity for Notre Dame, though, just is something that I'm monitoring. They haven't been wholly impressive as the year has gone on, but they've taken care of business every single game except the one, which I think they learned a lot from. I'm going to take Notre Dame to win this one and cover just barely 28-14. The Irish get it done.
Will Wilson.
I'm going to go Notre Dame 21, Navy 13.
Okay. Fair enough. Same kind of mindset there. You'll give up a few plays, maybe a turnover is the difference. The Illini, they are at Oregon. The Ducks favored by 22. I think the quarterback play and offense of Illinois is problematic. You have a situation in Oregon that, listen, they didn't have a letdown at all. They came in and dropped the nuke on Purdue last Friday. So they were ready. They were focused. I think Illinois is pretty physical. I think Illinois will test Oregon because you could make an argument that the Illini are probably the fifth best team in the Big Ten right now. I don't think Oregon covers that number, but I think Oregon wins. And give me the Ducks 28. Give me the Illini 21.
I'm struggling with this one because Oregon minus 22 seems like way too many points.
Unless Illinois turns it over.
Anytime I feel that way, Vegas tends to know something that I don't. That in mind, give me the Ducks to cover 22 somehow.
Really?
45-21.
Okay.
Oregon, too much offense. Dylan Gabriel's fantastic. And I think Illinois probably turns the football over. That number is high, but I think Vegas probably knows something we don't.
Okay. What do you say, Will?
I think Illinois hangs in there. I'll go Oregon 28, Illinois 17.
All right. Down to Tuscaloosa we go. And you have Missouri at Bama. You've got the walking wounded that is Missouri. They couldn't run the ball. They had a hell of a time. And that number has jumped from 14 to now 18. Ooh. I think Alabama is going to run the football a little more. And I don't think Missouri is going to be able to run the football as much as they'd like. And I think this thing probably gets to 21, 42-21. Give me Bama the win and the cover.
Give me Missouri to cover this number despite the fact that the walking wounded. I'm still yet to see an impressive performance from Bama since that Georgia game. Did they feel like they had made it after Georgia? That's my question. Can they, with the first-year head coach, at least at Bama and Kalen DeBoer, can he get them reeled back in? I don't know. Give me Missouri to cover this number just barely, 34-17.
Will, what do you say?
I think it's a close game. I'll go Bama 24, Missouri 21.
I lost you.
24 Bama, Missouri 21. You got me okay?
No, I got you. Try it again.
Yeah, I'm going Bama 24, Missouri 21. I think it's a close game.
The radio listeners hear it 3 times just to be safe.
Yeah.
Will, give it to me again.
That's not gonna hit.
Say it now. All right, we go to Penn State at Wisconsin. After the Reverend's phone called, we may be lucky that Claus is out of pocket right now for Penn State, Wisconsin predictions. Minus 6.5 Penn State. James Franklin's had an interesting week with a couple of former players and the way he reacted. Wasn't the worst press conference this week, despite the subject matter. So I think Penn State escapes. I think they stay unbeaten. I think they get ready for the showdown with Ohio State in Happy Valley next week. But I think they got a sweat, and I think Penn State gets it handled. You got a new Wisconsin that's actually running the damn ball. So give me Penn State 21. Give me Wisconsin 17.
Do we forget how well Penn State was able to shut down the Illinois offense as a whole? I think Illinois has got a better offense than Wisconsin. I think Penn State rolls in this one.
Okay.
28-7.
Even with the look ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that they allowed 30 points to USC. Different offense, apples and oranges.
Long time ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks. What do you say, Will?
I'll go Penn State 24, Wisconsin 14.
Okay, we'll sneak in Texas and Vandy. Could Vandy beat? Would Nashville stand? How could it happen if they beat Bama and Texas in the same year? Minus 18. I think Texas is hung over. I think they win, but I think they got to just survive Nashville. Give me the Longhorns 31 and Vandy 24.
Yeah, a lot of points favoring Texas here. I'm kind of with you in the hangover, Schmidt. I think Vandy covers this number, but Texas wins it 34-24.
Who will be hung over more? Will it be Texas or Elijah on Sunday morning?
Oh, Sunday morning. Okay, that's fair. I was like, I got work tomorrow. Thank you.
Will Wilson, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm going to go Texas 28, Vandy 21.
All right, hang tight. We will get our Nebraska-Ohio State predictions as the Friday forecast marches on. We are on the road here in Columbus, day 2 of a 3-day tour of Columbus, That means we'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:30 Central. And then the Real Red Reaction follows around 2:30. Friday forecast winds down here with Hail Varsity here at the Marriott.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, a.k.a. fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Don't be haunted by what could have been. October is your chance to win a luxury vacation, free slot play, and cash giveaways at Warhorse Lincoln. Every Friday, one lucky winner will win a $10,000 luxury vacation with Warhorse Lincoln's Passport to Paradise. Choose from 11 dream destinations and make your getaway unforgettable. Earn entries all month long. But winning doesn't stop there. It's contagious when you play Zombie Hot Seats on Thursdays this month. Make sure you stay seated to win $250 free slot play for yourself and $25 free slot play for your fellow gaming ghouls. Add to your good luck with the Game Busters kiosk game on select Sundays and Wednesdays to win up to $500 free slot play or cash, or 5,000 bonus entries for Passport to Paradise. It's all happening with over 400 slots, sports betting, simulcast horse racing, and 24/7 gaming action. Only at Warhorse Casino Lincoln, minutes from downtown at Highway 77 and West Denton Road. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
The days are getting shorter and the temps are getting cooler. This is Chris Goforth. Join me and the experts from Earl May Saturday morning at 8:30 as we guide you through another fall season in your lawn and garden. In the Garden with Earl May every Saturday morning at 8:30 right here on KFOR.
Every kid deserves a mentor, and there's a child out there waiting for you. Teammates of Lincoln knows firsthand that one-on-one relationships build hope and community. Be the support you needed when you were young.
Make a difference 1 hour at a time. Go to LincolnTeammates.org.
Wendy's breakfast burrito has an entire breakfast in every bite. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, American cheese, cheese sauce, and sausage or bacon. So the
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Winding down a Friday edition here at the Marriott, the Ohio State Marriott Roadshow. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, Will Wilson. Big thanks to all of you for checking us out in the stream. Again, YouTube, Hail Varsity YouTube, like and subscribe. Hail Varsity Radio Podcast. You got to search for that and then subscribe. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Hail Varsity Radio Twitter. Give that a follow at HVarsity Radio. We'll be on 7:30 to a little bit after 9 tomorrow morning. Mr. Cranack will join us, and we'll also check in with Brandon Vogel, the Iron Horse, and don't forget, Real Red Reaction, KFOR, KFORnow.com, 2:30-ish. As soon as the game's done, we'll be here at the Marriott post-game. Tons of Nebraska fans have bellied up to the bar. Here at the Marriott, they are ready to go. Are you ready to go and make your prediction? Nebraska, Ohio State, minus 25.5. What does it look like? What does a cover look like that's okay? What does a cover by Ohio State look like that's okay for you, the Nebraska fan? That's really what it's about for me tomorrow here. What do you expect tomorrow? I expect Nebraska to play better, to play faster, to play more physical, to be confident, and die trying, I guess is the best way to put. And I think that looks 38-21 They need to find a way to score some points tomorrow. Obvious take, but it's a reality for me. They need to get into the end zone or find a way to get the pigskin between the uprights because they've been in scoring position several times the last few ball games. Right? They've left so many points on the field, and it's not been via penalty. It's been execution. It's been unimaginative play calling. And there needs to be some ownership in the play caller. There needs to be some ownership with guys that are getting checks scratched to them. Help your quarterback out. All right. 38-21, Ohio State, but Nebraska covers.
The question to me in this one is, what is the context?
Can't look like Indiana.
What is the context behind that Indiana game? Is that a game where Indiana is just a lot better than you? You came in smelling your own farts and you gave up? Is this a case of...
That's so wrong.
Is this a case of you just had an off day against Indiana? Or
you're all in on Skyline Chili, aren't you?
Yeah. Or are they just that much better? If they're just that much better, it means bad things for Nebraska tomorrow. But considering the reaction around the state of Nebraska following that game, I don't think Indiana is that much better than Nebraska, and I think Nebraska fans know it. That's why there's so much frustration. I think specifically the defense has a bounce-back type performance. Ohio State's still really dang good, and the offense is still limited in what they can accomplish. I think Nebraska hangs tight for a half. Ohio State pulls away in the second half, but Nebraska does cover that number, 34-14. You might thank Ohio State for resting some guys late in the game looking ahead to Penn State, but I think Nebraska covers that 25.5.
Is this a 24-7.5 deal? That
like a 21-14, 24-14 type game at half, I think.
All right. You'd love that. You'd take it. Will, what say you, bud?
We're running out of time. I'm just going to give my score. I'm not going to babble. I got 38.
Wow, that's a shot at us.
Ohio State. No, I'm not shot at you guys. Just I don't want to take up all the time.
38-7?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Will, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. We'll check in with you tomorrow. And we'll be back with you tomorrow morning, weekend edition, 7:30 Central. Elijah Herbal, Chris Schmidt, big thanks to Will Wilson. Big thanks to Jacob Badilla, Damon Benning. Big thanks to Brian Christopherson and the Pride of Fairbury, Bill Dolman. Talk tomorrow on Hail Varsity here at the Marriott.